Ladies and gentlemen, what did you expect? Black leather? For this is a Fred the Alien Productions podcast.
Oh, sassy. So
Yeah.
sassy. Even I went, ah ha ha.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we'll get into that later.
We will get into that later, but for now, cue the music.
I don't know what we're yelling about! We came, we saw, we kicked its ass!
Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me you built a time machine? Kind of a DeLorean?
The way I see it, if you're gonna build a time machine into a car, why not do it with some style?
Who is this? What's your operating number?
Boring conversation anyway.
Look, we're gonna have company! Loud noises!
Hello.
Hello.
I'm a Kendall Richardson.
And I'm the one that's not blocked, Michael Lister.
And you are now experiencing a podcast called Fred.
Yes, experiencing it through the medium of two people and not three. Oh, how sad. But we'll keep buggering on.
We will keep buggering on. As we do. Yes, sadly, Fulia is not feeling up to recording this week, but never fear. As always, she has provided us with her thoughts on a bunch of stuff coming up in the show, so she's still with us. And we love it, but get better soon, Fulia. If you're watching. I don't know.
I think the Zennials do something like that or something.
Oh,
I think it's a cultural thing now.
yeah, I read something the other day that was like, they came up with a median age of like, this is when you start to feel out of touch, and it was like late 30s, 38 or 39 or something. I'm like, okay, I'm already feeling out of touch with certain things.
I'm still with it. I'm still hip.
You're still with it? You're still here?
And when my children become a certain age, then I can, reintroduce myself as a young person.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
Oh,
also,
God.
for the people who are listening, we were doing hearts with our
Yes.
hands.
Yes.
And also there was another one where it's like, what is your action by picking up the phone? Obviously, we do this. But the new generation,
Yeah.
they hold the smartphone. And we have the banana.
We have the banana. They're just holding the thing. But they're you know what though, Michael? They're also not making this gesture because they've got the phone in their hand. So no need for gestures.
And also, how do you hang up?
Yeah.
Click.
Click.
Bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Back in my day. Anyway.
Back in my day, we didn't. If we wanted to use the internet, we couldn't use the phone.
You had to choose between one or the other. Anyway, before we get too far off track, let's get into the show, starting with the weekly watchings. And Fulia has a lovely roundup for us here. She says, I haven't had much of a chance to watch much this past week. I did manage to finish off Lego Masters. Nice. Though, which was fun. Still carrying on with my One Piece watch through and started season 2 of, she's told me how to pronounce it, thank you, Fulia, Haikyuu. Haikyuu. Awesome. She then says, I also woke up early Sunday morning to watch the Eurovision Song Contest live, and I'm so happy I did. That's it from me. Have a good show, friends. Oh, thanks, Fulia. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Mike, what
Hello.
have you been watching?
Well, just to piggyback off Fulia, I didn't really watch much, have any One Piece this week. Because I had my viewing time full. I got my wife to watch a trilogy with me, and that is Lord of the Rings.
Yes. Amazing news. And
know.
what did she think?
She thought that was good. It was really
Great.
good.
Good.
you know, sometimes she was just on her phone and say, "Hey, this is a good bit. This is a good bit." Bit of shoulder nudge. She's like, "This one. It's like, that's Aragon. He's hot."
Yeah.
Because my wife's a
Sure
big
is.
fan of John Wick. I thought, it's John Wick with a sword. With a thou.
That's with a sword. That is fantastic. Aragorn is John Wick with a sword. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question as well?
Yes.
Did you guys watch the theatrical or the extended cuts?
Well, this is my wife we're talking about. You know my wife.
Yeah. You
don't
watched the
have-
theatrical.
Yeah, we don't have time for 12 hours of movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Yeah,
9
so we
hours it is.
watched the just the theatrical version and the 4K version. Apparently, we watched it on Prime. And,
cool.
And I watched it and thought, nah, I want to stick to my standard definition, Lord of the Rings, because I can see how it aged. It's like, damn it. Oh well, I'll go back. Time to go back.
Yeah, fair call.
Yeah. So we watched that. I cried.
Oh.
It's like this is childhood memories as well as adolescent memories and all that.
Yeah.
Just reworking it. The reason why we watched it will become clear in the later half of the series of this show, this podcast that we're doing.
Yep.
And yeah, it still holds up, I reckon. Still holds up.
Damn straight. It does. It really does. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah. I watched a little bit of The Hobbit as well, just the first 30 minutes of it, because still had a couple of hours, had a couple of minutes left before we went to bed because I had to go to work. And yeah, I watched that. I thought, you can sort of tell it's been 10 years for certain actors.
Yeah.
Oh well. And I will talk about that later in the later half of in this podcast as well. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Um,
Indeed, lots to talk about.
But also, still watching my X-Men original series. Almost finished the season 3, which is basically the Phoenix Saga, and that was good. And then there was one episode that I was pleasantly surprised we actually met someone that we know, kind of.
Oh.
Yeah. But we haven't seen him since Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you talking about the purple man?
The
Are you
Purple
talking
Man?
about
Kilgrave?
The purple man? Kilgrave is in this?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was the bad guy in one episode.
That's very cool.
So
And how did
apparently
that
he
go?
is a mutant.
Okay, there you go.
So I didn't know that. So if if they ever do Kilgrave in animation form, I think David Terry can go back,
Yeah, why not? Hell yeah.
because he's also a good voiceover artist as well. Really enjoy his Scrooge McDuck, so he can sort of combine the boot.
Yeah,
And
that'd be cool.
yeah, so pleasantly surprised watching Kilgrave, an actual purple man. He was actually purple. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, putting on makeup, like Jack Nicholson's Joker, putting on foundation instead of white paint. So
Okay.
that was cool.
Different.
Yeah,
That is
different.
cool.
It's unusual and
Unusual. Nice.
Yeah, that's basically what I've been watching and doing. Just a lot of Lord of the Rings and enjoying every minute. What about you, Kendall?
Love it.
You been doing stuff?
I have been doing stuff. I've been doing a bunch of stuff. Yeah, well, I will piggyback off of Fulia and do a leapfrog over you. But I will talk about Lego Masters for a sec. Because yes, I also finished the current season, which is the Lego Masters Australia versus the World, which finished airing last week. And
Did we win?
do we want to spoil? Do we want to spoil? It's been a week, so I suppose it's fine. But
Yeah. I'm already spoiled for Eurovision, so.
nah, fair call. No, Australia did not win. It came down to one Aussie team, the German team, and the American team. And when you see what the American team built, you'll understand why they won. Because never before has a piece of a thing of Lego, like a construction of Lego, sculpture, if you will. Never before has something like that brought me to tears. I was looking at this thing, and I started crying because I was like, "This is insane! What they've done." I couldn't believe it. I was just so moved for some reason, which is hilarious because, like, at the start, I was like, oh, I don't like Team USA. One of them's obnoxious as all get out. But then as time went on, I actually grew to really enjoy them and like them and appreciate them. And they are now officially the first complete female team to take home a Lego Masters title across the entire world. So that's very cool. But the Australian build, I got to give a massive shout out to the Australian build because they did this really cool forced perspective set in space. It was like an astronaut looking up at like this kind of space castle that was perched on a a floating mountain, and the moon was had it silhouetting it in the background, and it was stunning. It was freaking stunning. So yeah, Aussies were a very close second in my eyes. It was just so cool. Some of the builds this season were like I've seen better builds, but for some reason this grand finale build was probably like one of the best ones I've seen. I think, I don't know. I just really loved what they all did. So yeah, it was great. It was awesome.
That wasn't the art gallery one. I'm trying to find pictures.
Yeah, it was. Yes, it was because
Yeah.
they created a room out of Lego, and it looked so real and lifelike in a lot of parts, and then the way they added in the minifigs was just really cute, and but it just was
And the brickwork was nice.
the brickwork is very nice. Like they laid hundreds of thousands of bricks to build that. And yeah, they made bricks out of bricks and paintings, and it's just it just floored me. So yes. Anyway, check it out if you're interested in seeing what it looks like. Yeah, it's so fucking cool. So fucking cool. Yeah, one of the American builders, her specialty, like her special skill is she loves recreating things on like a 1-to-1 scale. Like that's her jam. So there's challenges in Lego Masters where you have to pick something and make it look exactly identical to the real life object, and she excelled at that, of course. But so the fact that they fucking went for it and they built this thing is just insane to me. But yeah, I loved it. Speaking of things that make me cry, I watched I ended up watching the sequel series. You know how I talked about I watched the Waco miniseries a couple of weeks ago?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I ended up watching the sequel series, which is called Waco: The Aftermath. And it's takes place, 2 years, 1 year, 2 years. I can't remember. Anyway, it's basically follows Michael Shannon's character. He comes back, and some new characters as well. Giovanni Ribisi plays a lawyer who's defending some of the Waco, the Branch Davidians, some of the survivors that are on trial for various charges. And yeah, it just goes into unfolding things that happened and the government versus the Branch Davidians. And then it even, one of my not my criticism, but one of the things I really wanted to know more about when I watched the first show was like how did how did they get to Waco? Like, what was the story of David Koresh before then? And in this miniseries, it's 5 episodes. They kind of have flashbacks that go like as each member that they feature being on trial, they kind of go back into their story and how they ended up in this mess. And then through that, you get the backstory. So that was kind of interesting. But yeah, it probably wasn't as good as the original series, but it was a worthy follow-up. And, you know, I've learned a lot of stuff about history in terms of, you know, the tragedy at Waco was actually directly to blame for what happened in 19 I think it must be 1995. I swear I saw 1995, but it must be 1994. I can't. My fucking
93.
So 90 Waco happened 93.
Waco happened 93, so aftermath.
Okay, so it must be. I don't know why I've got 1995. Well, because basically Waco, because of Waco. That's why the Oklahoma City bombing happened. Like the guy that blew that FBI building up. He it was a retaliation, if you will, for Waco. So yeah, it's really sad, and that's still to this day the worst act of domestic terrorism in the U.S. The Oklahoma City bombing. So the fact that they're correlated is kind of fucked up, beyond measure. But anyway, really fascinating stuff. Like if you're interested in true crime and you know parts of American history, or you know, or just like cults, I don't know, all that stuff, all of the above. The whole thing is very fascinating. I'm gonna go and watch. There's that Netflix last year put out a docu-series on it on Waco, so I'm gonna go watch that now so I can see the real people that are involved. But yeah, it was cool. It was good.
Paramount Plus.
Yeah,
I've got it.
Yeah, Paramount Plus. Yeah, you can watch both of them.
Yeah.
I recommend.
After my South Parks.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, I feel like I had. Oh yeah, I got 2 more things to mention. I will mention one thing that I watched. I watched the Gran Turismo movie, finally. So yeah, and that was 2 hours and 15 minutes of my life that I might not get back. I don't know how I'm feeling about it still. After I've been sitting with it for a couple of days. Like if you're a fan, if you played the game when you were a kid, like I did, my brother is huge on it. He still plays. Gran Turismo is his favorite game series. He loves it. Like if you've got the nostalgia for it, there's parts you'll appreciate. I wish they'd leaned into the nostalgia a bit more, just because they kind of put elements in there in terms of sound. Like they bring in sounds from the games into the movie in certain moments, and the games have really great soundtracks. So I haven't played the most recent one, but I feel like they could have used more of the classic stuff. I don't know, but it's not adapting the game necessarily. It's about, you know, the contest that they ran to, you know, make racing car, like video game racing drivers into actual professional drivers. And yeah, the story is really good, and it's I don't know. It didn't need to be over 2 hours long, and David Harbour, you'll be happy to hear, Mike. David Harbour was the best thing in the movie.
Yeah.
And even he had some moments where I was like, okay.
Take it again.
Yeah, do it again. The writing was very bad, and the editing was very bad, and I'm very sad because this is a Neil Blomkamp movie, and I fucking stan Neil Blomkamp so hard because he's such a good director. But apparently, if he's making someone else's stuff, I don't think he's your guy.
He's an auteur.
He's an auteur. That's literally the word I said when I was describing it to my parents yesterday. Yeah, he's an auteur. But yeah, it's yeah. I don't know. If you have any interest in the games, it's worth a look. And there's some parts of it that are interesting, but I didn't rate it hugely. Little mid for me.
Mid.
Mid. And then the last thing I'll mention as well, I too got up super early yesterday and watched the Eurovision Grand Final.
Yeah.
It was very good. It was the competition this year was very strong. There was so many good songs, great performances. I really wanted Croatia to win. They ended up coming second. which is what it is. But Mike, I mean, you said you had the winner spoiled for you already. So spoilers for Eurovision. For those listening and watching. But a very historic win for Switzerland this year. They took it out. Nemo is the artist, and they are the first non-binary performer to win Eurovision, which is absolutely fantastic. And it's the first time Switzerland's won the contest since Celine Dion won it in 1988, I believe. Or 89, late 80s. Even though she's not Swiss, but she represented them. It's fine. I mean, I don't think she's Swiss. I'm pretty sure she's French Canadian, but that's neither here nor there. You don't have to be from the country to represent them in Eurovision, because there was an Australian representing Cyprus, Celia Kapsis. She had a very good song, very good performance. But yeah. There was some great songs, and they did it. There was an ABBA tribute because it was 50 years since ABBA won Eurovision.
No wonder Switzerland won.
No, Sweden won last year, and it took place in Sweden. ABBA are Swedish. So there you go.
Yeah, Sweden won
last year. Yeah. Switzerland won this year.
There's
different
difference.
countries. Yes, there's
Scandinavian.
Not even, but that's all right.
That's right. We're all British here.
European, yes. We're just they're all European. They all won. But yeah, it was good. It was a good time. Anyway, yeah. So that's my weekly watchings. Those are my weekly watchings. Which means now we're gonna bring the mood down because it's time. Unfortunately, to get into the week that was in the nerdy news.
Yes, hold on.
Yes.
Just need to prepare and...
This is the news in nerdy news. The nerds that talk about the nerdy news. That is us who talk about the news that is nerdy. And now the queen of nerdydom, the hostess with mostest, Kendall Richardson. Take it away, Kendall.
Okay. We have to unfortunately start off the news this week with some sad stories to tell. Firstly, most recently happened was the passing of Roger Corman. Absolutely iconic and prolific face of cinema. I think it's probably fair to say that cinema would look very different without his presence in it. He lived to be 98, which is insane. So that's just absolutely wonderful. Yeah, he, was a fantastic director in his day. Just iconic film producer. There's so many directors that just wouldn't have, and actors I think as well, that just would not have careers without him. For example, this is a list of some of the names that Corman helped put into the spotlight. Ingmar Bergman, Akira Kurosawa, Peter Bogdanovich, Galen Hurd, Peter Fonda, Dennis Hopper, Bruce Dern, William Shatner, Sandra Bullock, Jonathan Demme, Joe Dante, and a ton of others. Understandably, the tributes have been flowing over the last 24 hours. People like Ron Howard and John Carpenter have spoken out. Even Ming-Na Wen made a post. So it's just insane to see, that he's finally, sadly, ended his time with us. Movies really kind of seem to be what they are, thanks to him, in a lot of ways. So, yeah. I don't think anything I can say can really sum up the epic career of Roger Corman. But yeah, he's just, never going to be forgotten, ever. That is for sure. Mike, do you want to say a few words on Roger Corman's passing?
Yeah, this was a bit of a blow, but a huge bucket of wind being 98. Even David Attenborough is 98 this year, so
Yeah, he just turned last week. I think he and I share a birthday. So,
yeah.
from
So,
memory.
yeah, and being prolific, being the face for like the B movie genre, back when America and Australia as well, because we're huge drive-in movie shows, and they usually do like a double feature, and they needed more films, so he sort of took up that mantle. Was like, okay, we can do what we want now, and on a very minuscule budget. I mean, one of his known sort of quotes is someone asked him, I think it was like in the 80s, it's like, how do you feel that movies now are getting budgets like over tens of millions of dollars? And it's like, that's he feels that in order to be an artist, you don't need that much to portray that you're an artist. You need to like learn from the ground up. I mean, he was very budget conscious, and there was a couple of things where him being on a set directing, but he was also one of the guys that says, "Oh, just to save a couple of dollars, I'll drive in all the equipment like each day, and that just gets rid of 1 hour." So, and some of his movies, you know, they don't really stand the test of time. I mean, you see a lot of them on like mystery science theater, like a lot, because today's audience, they're funny, but back then it's like it was pulp media. It was genre media, and one of my favorite ones was he did the original Little Shop of Horrors, which also catapulted Jack Nicholson in that role, and that spread on to like the musical, which is my favorite musical of all time, Little Shop of Horrors, and also that also paved the way. One of my favorite 80s movies was Little Shop of Horrors, with Frank Oz as director, and just a way of that being like a sort of celebration of like Dante's sorry, not Dante, Roger Corman's work of sort of creature features as well, and he tried his hand on many things. Like he in the 60s he did a lot of Edgar Allan Poe adaptations, a lot with Boris Karloff, like the original Frankenstein, when he was on his like sort of last stretch of his career, because no one really wanted to work with him because, you know, he was prolific as Frankenstein, but he sort of in the late half of his career he sort of said, you know, I'll bring you. It's like, and that's the sort of thing that you get to see nowadays, of like with Peter Jackson, like having like all these other actors that had like careers way back when, but now bring them back full form. I mean, a lot of people know Christopher Lee as Saruman, and he did all those Hammer shows as well. So, and that was great. And also he touched on a lot of directors that we know, like, and some were sort of breaking their teeth in the industry. I mean, France, like Coppola and Scorsese as well, and all those other, including Joe Dante as well, which he sort of returned the favor, and he actually put Roger Corman back in action, the Looney Tunes movie, as playing as Hollywood director. So yeah, it's such a shame, and it's a huge career, and there's a lot more stuff that he's done and throughout his career that is still echoing today, and I think maybe people need to look back at like I'm here saying that I'm sort of sick of IP. Let's let's do like theater sort of shows. Like I can see something like nowadays, like Poor Things is sort of a sort of good harking back of sort of that. Oh, what can we do artistically and sort of something interesting, and not necessarily for a mainstream audience. And yeah, he will be missed. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of something else. He did a lot of producing as well, and another name is James Cameron, who he got in for what's the movie? It's a sci-fi movie, and it's very prolific because James Cameron decided to put tits on a spaceship for reasons I don't know. So yeah, he sort of helped James Cameron as well, and now we got Avatar movies. Yeah, so
Yeah.
the echoes will remain.
Yeah, 100%. You know, like Scorsese as well. Fucking Jack Nicholson, Ron Howard, like, you know, these are household historic names, you know, and it's all because of him. It's insane to me.
Oh, and he was also was cast in the Godfather movies. I think it was two. He played a senator,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, Coppola. Put him in it. Yeah. Yeah, he will never be forgotten, but he will be missed, that's for sure. Okay, this next one is going to be a little tough for us both, I think. So hopefully I don't cry. But of course, we're going to talk about the late great Bernard Hill, who sadly passed away at the age of 79. If you don't know him by his name, you'll know two of his most iconic roles, one in particular. The first time I saw Bernard Hill was as Captain Smith in Titanic, speaking of James Cameron. He bore an uncanny resemblance, I would say, to the real-life Captain Smith who went down with the ship in 1912. And, you know, I just remember being so taken by his performance. He has such a presence in Titanic. Like, I remember just loving the captain of the ship, even though by all accounts in real life he was a little problematic, I think. But in the film, just Bernard Hill brought this heart to him that was really lovely. So that's always kind of struck a chord with me. But of course, yeah, fuck, I'm gonna cry.
No, you're not allowed.
Of course, not allowed. No tears. No. But of course, you know, he will be forever remembered for his incredible, enduring, courageous performance as Theoden King in Lord of the Rings, leader of the Rohirrim, Rohan, you know, the King of Rohan, and you know, just the amount of gravitas and just epicness he brought to that role, like, I wish Tolkien could have seen it, you know? Like, oh man, he's literally, I think, you know, the casting in those movies is on point as it is, even though Viggo Mortensen wasn't the first choice for Aragorn, but, you know, that's for another discussion.
Happy accident.
But no one else could have played Theoden. No one besides Bernard Hill. Yeah, he just personified everything. He made Rohan feel like a kingdom lived in. You know, you could sense the weight of everything. Like him being a father mourning his son. You know, him wanting the best for his niece and his nephew. Wanting to save his people. I mean, yeah, he was a bit of a stubborn bastard in moments, but you know, he came through when it mattered, and basically delivered some of the greatest speeches, war speeches in cinema history. I think, you know, some of the stuff from Helm's Deep is great, like that "So It Begins" moment. Like anyone else could do that, it would come across very cringy. I feel like, because it is a bit like, oh, you know, how you going, whatever. It's, you know, it's just. But I think there's just something in the way that he does it, that stone face, that grim stone face, like, okay, but no, we're gonna fuck these orcs up, you know. It's just great. And then just, you know, launching into battle and Pelennor Fields and Return of the King, like that speech, you know, is just, I'm getting chills thinking about it. It's just so good. It's just so good. And he brought it like no one else could. So, yeah, as a Tolkien fan, both of us, yeah, very, very sad week. Very, very sad week to see him pass, and too soon, I think, at the age of 79. You know, he was still working until the end. So I think he just starred with Martin Freeman in a TV series in the UK. So he wasn't slowing down anytime soon. So, but now he's at peace, and hopefully, you know,
He's with his fathers.
He's with his fathers. Yes. Wherever men go, when they die. You know, no one knows. So, yeah. Anyway, before I keep rambling, and, and being silly, Mike, I would really like to know your thoughts and how you're feeling about the loss of Bernard Hill.
Yeah, it was really sad. No, hearing this, because it was early in the morning, and I thought, oh, such a punch in the guts, and
yeah,
it's been 20 years since the actual thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And when I watched Two Towers for the first time, was it 2002? I was 13, and yeah, even as a 13-year-old, it sort of got to me that his sort of speech by his son's graveside sort of got me. And and when I was doing the rewatch with my wife, it got me again, because I don't think I've seen it since I had my own son. So yeah, it's really, it just sticks with you, and it hits different when you're in different parts of your life. And yeah, as you said, the gravitas of his words that were written and translated from Tolkien. It's not the easiest, because you're doing with like heightened language and all that, and it takes a good actor to make these words dance and be normalized. And it takes a real actor to actually understand and actually perform those sort of things, and just making these words like resonate and live on in people's minds. I mean, sure, of "So It Begins" is a meme, and even my wife is going, I know that meme. And it's like, yeah, it rings true. And yeah, and just and watching Return of the King as well. Just knowing what was going to happen, it was like, yeah, I'm probably going to be a blubbering mess. It's like, yeah, this is the last chance that you get to see him in that particular role, and he's done roles ever since. No damper on them, but this role actually does cement him in that sort of memory of cinema, as well as nerdydom as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so here's to you, King Theoden. Yeah.
Yeah.
Haven't got much else to say.
No, that's okay. I think I think you've covered it very well, spoken very truthfully and wonderfully. So thank you. So I appreciate that very much. Okay, let's move on to the rest of the news, and we are going to stay in Middle Earth for a moment as we go to our top story. So we knew that there were going to be more Lord of the Rings movies coming that Peter Jackson was going to be working on. But now we finally have some confirmation of what that's going to look like in terms of at least the first movie that they're going to be doing. Now, it looks to be that they're going to be making a film called The Hunt for Gollum, and it's going to be directed by none other than Andy Serkis, who of course will also be returning to play Gollum / Smeagol once again. I don't believe they have actually confirmed when this is set, but I think the leading theory is that it's going to be taking place during the early events of Fellowship of the Ring, where Sauron's trying to find Gollum and Gandalf's trying to find Gollum, and they're all trying to get him before one side can get him, and because he knows where the ring is and all that stuff. So I think that's where this movie is going to take place, which is really interesting. I mean, just the fact that they're doing Gollum again. I don't know, because I mean, sure, they can take from Fellowship. I imagine there's probably stuff about Gollum in other published Tolkien stuff, like maybe a history of Middle Earth, or maybe parts of his Tolkien's letters. Maybe he might have spoken about Gollum. I don't know. But I mean, it's not the first time that they're going to be making something that's kind of out of thin air, that's kind of based on something, but then stretched out to all buggery. So we've seen that done before to varied effect. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of conflicting feelings on this. I'm honestly neither here nor there. I mean, I love Andy Serkis, and he's a good director. Excuse me. And his performance as Gollum is iconic and legendary and groundbreaking, as it was back in the early 2000s for mocap performance. But I just doing this as their first live action movie since the Hobbit films, and get like after the way those were overall received, I feel like they're kind of playing it safe a bit by doing something that people are already familiar with. There is such a varied, a fucking insane amount of stuff that they could, ask for the rights for, or go deeper into in other stuff, which is why I'm more excited, I think, for the War of the Rohirrim animated film that's coming out, because that's going back to the beginnings of Helm's Deep before it was the beginning of Rohan and all that stuff. Like, that sounds really kind of fascinating. Something we haven't really seen before, haven't really gone into, but here we're kind of doing something that we've seen, and so it just makes me wonder, like, what's the script? What does it look like? Where is it at? And then the other thing that kind of gives me pause is the fact that they reckon this movie's going to be out in 2 years. Sure. Good luck. I'm sure. I hope it'll be fine. I don't know. I hope they don't rush it. I mean, yeah, Peter Jackson and Philippa Boyens and Fran Walsh, that team, they're producing this, back. So they're all back. They're all back for this. In terms of the production stuff. So,
there's hope.
I mean, it'll at least have that visual continuity, I guess, of what people expect Middle Earth to look like on the big screen anyway. So, which is kind of cool, but at the same time, it would be nice to see what a different group of people might be able to do with Middle Earth, like, with Rings of Power, how there's kind of new faces, new people bringing those stories to life. But then again, that's second age stuff. This is third age, and the third age has a certain vibe. I don't know. Anyway, it's fucking Zaslav trying to make money. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably gonna watch it, of course, but so I'm part of the problem. But anyway, we'll see what happens when it comes out. Those are my many thoughts on it. Mike, where are you sitting? Similar to me, or do you have any other takes that are hot or cold?
Very hot.
Hot.
Yeah, I've got my concerns. I mean, putting my cynical hat on it, yeah, Zavslov needs like something like.
Yeah.
I think the biggest things that they have is Lord of the Rings is a franchise that's still on people's minds. I mean, yeah, we've just had the Gollum game that was a thing, died on its ass, and they got the Rohirrim movie coming out that we still haven't seen anything about. So who knows? Maybe that's just a canary in the coal mine. And I say that because if they are going to do this, and it takes place within that little section between Gandalf leaving the Shire and Frodo has the ring now. So is that sort of stretch between that and he comes back, because then Gollum is found and all that. And this is spitballing because that's where we're speculating, because there was a fan film that you can still watch on YouTube.
Yes.
And
now again.
Well, yeah. After they took it down, and then it's like, hey, put it back, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And then they put it back. So good, positive, and it just, but good, because Streisand effect. Even I decided, okay, I'm going to watch it, because I didn't get to watch it 15 years ago. And that was really good. It takes place with Gandalf asking Strider, we know who Strider is, to find Gollum, and it was neat for a short. It was like 30 minutes, and it had Legolas in it. So if they're doing something like that, cool. But it has been 20 years. Actors don't look like who they look like after 20 years, especially Ian McKellen. I mean, I don't expect him like constantly having a stunt double do that and strategically. He's only in close-ups. I mean, we sort of already did that with Christopher Lee in the Hobbit movies. Can we not do that, please? And and I say, why don't we do this as an animated film? Because you could sort of get away with it, because Gollum is already an animated character, and Rohan is and the movie that War of Rohirrim. I say War of Rohan. Rohirrim is coming out as an animated, so maybe that will be sort of the benchmark, and you can probably get away with more stuff if it's an animated show and not necessarily live action. Because Andy Serkis has done that with the Jungle Book movie.
Yeah.
Where the only real person was Mowgli, and you could sort of cut out the middleman and just make it all, Lion King. And make it all animated. And then you can like pass it off as something that still fits, and then you can still get Viggo Mortensen and all the others coming back to do their voices. Maybe do their mocap as well. Maybe probably not Ian McKellen, because you probably get the Irishman sort of old man trying to throw swords and all that. So yeah, I'm optimistic.
Okay.
The cynical bit of me is like, yeah, it's sort of a cash grab for WB, because they're acting like weird people that don't know how to run a decent entertainment company.
Yep.
And I think because Lord of the Rings is more favorable for people than what else WB has. I mean, they're still doing their DC stuff. I don't think there's much of an appetite for a certain Wizard Boy series. I don't think that has the same sort of, like grassroots. Oh, we still like this. I mean, say what you will about the Prime shit. What's it called? Paramount Prime stuff. TV show.
Hang on, are you talking about the Rings of Power?
Yeah, Rings of Power. Sorry, it's too many. It's too many stuff. It's too many.
No, Rings of Power is great, and hopefully we get some news on that soon.
Yeah, it's okay.
But
I guess it's a good placeholder until the real stuff comes.
Wow.
Ouch.
Cop that.
Yeah. Take that, sexy Saruman. Whatever.
Sexy Sauron. Thank you very much.
Sexy Saramanda. Sly. Anyway, yeah, I'm fairly optimistic about this.
Nice.
And if it's going to be a string of other movies, may I suggest actually do Tom Bombadil?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Yeah. See, that's exactly what we need. Like, if that's what I was getting at before. Like, fucking, there's so much other stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you could do Tom Bombadil and Goldberry and that whole thing, and like go into that and what the fuck, maybe explore what the fuck he is and what he. Keep the mystery.
I've heard a fan casting of that, and I cannot outthink it. I cannot.
Oh yeah.
I cannot think of anyone else to do it, but this guy.
Uh-huh.
And it's so I reckon Peter Jackson will probably do that anyway.
Okay.
Matt Berry. Yeah.
My God, I want it.
Yeah.
I want it more than I've almost wanted anything in my life. That is the best casting choice ever.
I mean,
my
out
God.
of The Hobbit, and you cast all these out of I don't know what they were thinking of casting, like Billy Connolly and Stephen Fry and fucking Sylvester McCoy.
Oh, Sylvester McCoy as Radagast at least made a bit more sense.
Yeah,
than the rest of them did.
But how many people actually know? Well, back then, how many people knew that he was the Doctor? I don't think so.
Oh yeah, unless you were like the general public probably didn't know who he was, but like people like us knew.
Yeah. And Peter Jackson's a big Whovian as well, so that's a plus.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
that is a plus. Fucking Matt Berry for Tom Bombadil. I'm campaigning for this. That's fantastic. Oh, okay.
Or Garth Marenghi.
I still haven't watched it. I just need to watch it.
Yeah, you need to watch it.
I really need to watch it.
It'll be a good day. Just a good day of watching The Dark Place.
Yeah.
Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
I can't wait. Oh, Jesus. All right, let's move on to our next item in the news. Speaking of casting, we got some MCU-related news because the foregone conclusion has now concluded, and it has been revealed that Galactus is in fact going to be the big bad of the Fantastic Four movie.
Hey.
So that's tick number one. But we all were kind of thinking that was going to happen. Because it's Fantastic Four, and I guess go big or go home. But the fact that they said that Silver Surfer is in the movie, even though it's a different version of Silver Surfer than we've seen before. I think a lot of people, myself included, were just like, yeah, well, I think this means Galactus is coming. So yeah, not surprised there. But yeah, the cool thing is that they have cast Ralph Ineson as Galactus. He he's got some pretty good cred. Speaking of WB franchises, he was in Harry Potter. In the final 3 films, he played Amicus Carrow, so I think he's one of the Death Eaters from memory.
Yeah, he was one of the substitute teachers
Yeah.
as Death Eater.
Yeah.
And
yes,
his
yes,
sister.
Yes. Because I remember the Carrows being referred to
Mm.
as a thing. He was I can't remember this character, but apparently he played Dagmar Cleftjaw in Game of Thrones. Don't know who that is from memory.
I think it was one of the Watch.
Okay. Yeah, okay. But yeah, he's also been in Star Wars, and he was in the Dark Crystal series and Peaky Blinders.
He has a good voice.
Yes, he has a good voice, which is why I think a lot of people are really happy with this casting because yeah, he has an epic kind of sounding voice. So that's going to really fit whatever kind of visuals I guess they're going for Galactus.
And he plays a good asshole in the UK Office.
Yeah, I saw that he's in the UK Office, but I never finished it. I started it, but I for some reason I couldn't do it. I don't know. Maybe I need to go back and try again.
Yeah, it's alright.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dare I say, I know it's sacrilege, but probably the American version is better.
No, that's okay. I feel like, even though I haven't seen the UK Office in its entirety, I feel like The Office is something where a lot of people are divisive as to which version's better. Like, and you can die on either hill, and no one will hate you for it.
It also depends. Yeah, it also depends on what sort of comedy you want. You want absolute cringe comedy, you go for the UK. If you want light-hearted cringe, I mean, you go for American.
Yeah, I love the American version. But anyway, yeah, Ralph Ineson is going to be Galactus. I'm annoyed that they're doing Galactus because I don't know. I didn't want them to do Doom or Galactus. I wanted them to go somewhere else. Sure, why not? Because like, for example, when the MCU did their first Spider-Man movie, they did, the Vulture was the villain of Homecoming, and we'd never seen Vulture on screens before in live action. And I get, I get why they did that in terms of, well, they literally only just had a Spider-Man like 4 years before that, 5 years before that even. So it was still very fresh. Whereas Fantastic Four, by the time this comes out, it'll be 10 years since Fantastic and 20 years since the original with Chris Evans and Jessica Alba. So
and
it's
30 years.
Yeah, since Roger Corman did his version.
That will never be released unless you know where it is.
Unless you know where to find it. Yeah. But so I don't know. So I was just hoping they would kind of go more and do a different thing. But like I said, I guess go big or go home. Galactus is the Fantastic Four villain.
And he is big.
And he is fucking huge. So as long as he doesn't look like a cloud, I think we're okay. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Great big fire cloud.
Great big fire cloud. Mike, how are you feeling about this? Optimistic as well, or I don't know?
Yeah. I mean, they had the chance of chucking a big name star. It's like, you probably don't need to. I mean,
no.
I think they're doing it correctly. Not necessarily get big names. I mean, they sort of tried doing that, but maybe go back to what they used to do in the MCU of not saying just random people, just chuck them in. It's it's just subtle people sort of starting out. I mean, I'm just thinking of Thor. I mean, not many people knew what a Chris Hemsworth was. And or Tom Hiddleston. Didn't know what that was.
No. I still remember the fucking byline on the article about it. It's like Marvel rolls dice, casts no names for Thor. And look what happened.
Yeah, look what happened.
Yeah, hey. No, I agree. I will just quickly say I agree with you. I like the casting outside of Pedro, just because Pedro's in fucking everything now. But Pedro's the name. Pedro's the draw for this.
He's a day.
He's but I like the fact that all the other casting that they've done have been they're established actors, but they're not household names by any stretch.
They're not huge.
So
they're
not huge.
We're not getting a fucking Harry Styles just to do a cameo.
God no.
And setting that up for some, I don't know.
But something that we're probably never going to see now, to be honest.
Yeah, which is a shame.
Oh.
Because we don't get to see Pip. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh well, that's okay. If you want to see fucking why is his name not coming to my brain? I love him. Thingo.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
The guy who played Pip.
Oh, Patton
in
Oswalt.
Eternals. Thank you, Patton Oswalt. Yeah, if you want to see him, you can watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He plays multiple versions of himself in that.
Or if you want to be tortured, watch the MODOK. Torture.
Yeah. Some of MODOK was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, it was.
Yeah, it was a joke that it could have been done in just like one. Like, well, big string of movies. Don't just make it as a series. Just one movie. There you go.
Yeah.
It was a good joke. It just shouldn't span it in a couple of weeks. Anyway.
But at least they did MODOK better in that show than they did him in Quantumania, I would say.
I don't know.
That's just my opinion.
The saving grace was his little butt. That was the best bit. His little butt.
Darren and his little butt.
His little butt and his dangly legs and arms. His little butt.
Little butt.
I still stand by that's the best Ant-Man movie. Because it's the only one I remember.
That's oh. Anyway.
Echo? Who's Echo? Yellow.
Anyway.
Hornet.
Shall we move on?
We shall.
We shall. Alrighty. Our next item in the news, switching to TV. We've got some Netflix related news. And this one is pretty exciting. Wednesday season 2 is on the way, of course. And they have begun filming in recent weeks. And they decided to last week announce the cast, a bunch of guest stars, recurring actors. We've got, people coming back that we're familiar with, of course. Jenna Ortega's coming back, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Emma Myers, Louis Guzman, so yeah, they're all coming back. But they added some really cool names for season 2. I think this was already announced. Steve Buscemi. I feel like I'd seen that somewhere. But Steve Buscemi's going to be in this, which is awesome. Noah Taylor is going to be in this, which has me excited. I like him. And then where's the other name that I was excited about? There's 2 others. One being Billie Piper. So hell yeah to seeing her in this. But of course, the big name that everyone's very excited about, and it's a bit of legacy casting. Season 1, they had Christina Ricci playing a character. Obviously, she was Wednesday in the movies in the 90s, and a familiar face from those films is going to be appearing in this. Christopher Lloyd.
Who dat?
Who dat? Oh. Christopher Lloyd, the legend, the icon. He was Uncle Fester in the 90s, in those 2 Barry Sonnenfeld movies that we grew up watching. That was our Addams Family.
That was our uncle.
Yes, he was our Uncle Fester. He's going to be in Wednesday season 2. So yeah, very exciting. I hope we get a scene with him and bloody Fred Armisen as Uncle Fester. For some reason, that kind of would tickle me, I think. So that's pretty cool if that happens.
I mean,
don't
it's
know. But yeah,
understandable. I mean, they did the same in the first season with Wednesday meeting
yes, Christina
Quasi
Ricci.
Wednesday.
Yes. But yeah, apparently Steve Buscemi is going to be playing the new principal of Nevermore Academy after Gwendolyn Christie's character was dispatched in the first season. Sadly, she was really good. Joanna Lumley, I didn't mention this. Joanna Lumley's going to be in it. She's going to be playing Grandmama. So that's really exciting. There's some great names in here. I'm getting pretty pumped, I think, for this. A lot of people are really, really excited. The first season, I think, exceeded expectations.
It was a
highly.
pleasant surprise.
It was a very pleasant surprise. Yeah, I didn't love it as much as everyone else did, but I definitely did enjoy many aspects of it. So I'm looking forward to watching the second season. Mike, what do you think? Are you excited for Wednesday season 2?
I was pretty excited seeing all those names.
Oh yeah.
I will touch on Joanna Lumley playing Granny. It's like, is she? I don't know. We sort of know what Granny looks like. Is she going to be like that, or is she doing her own thing? Because it could work either way.
It could.
And the and sort of the biggest like lore with Granny is, we don't know which side of the family she's on.
Yeah, that's true.
Like in some versions it's one, and some versions it's other. I kind of like the musical version of Adam's Family, where they do make a joke of that. It's like I can't believe your mother is like did this thing. It's like, what do you mean? I thought she was your mother. I thought she was yours. Yeah, so
That's good.
they might do something like that. And Christopher Lloyd doing a thing, which is good because the last thing was in Knuckles, the television show, and he was only in it for 2 scenes, and that's it. Well, his voice. He did a voice.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So that's cool. There was a story that came out. Well, it's probably common knowledge now, but I sort of found that out like not too long ago. They were going to do a third Adams movie with like the original cast, which later turned into Reunion, and they just completely recast the entire family. But Christopher Lloyd and what's her name? Morticia.
Angelica Houston.
Angelica Houston. Her and Angelica Houston and Christopher Lloyd decided it's like, no, I don't want to reprise these roles without our Gomez. So
yeah.
So that's sort of like reminded me of that story, because Christopher Lloyd was probably thinking, it was like, well, I'm not going to come back, which is good. He's not coming back as Uncle Fester, but it's going to be a wink and a nod to If You Knew, sort of thing that you do with they did with Christina Ricci. So who knows? Angelica Houston maybe for season 3.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be very, very cool. All right, speaking of cool things, our final item in the news, keeping it in the TV zone, we have a premiere date for The Bear season 3.
Bar.
The Bar. Cousin, get excited. Because this is really, really, really interesting. Because not only are we getting the first episode on June 27, we're getting the entirety of season 3.
Oh.
They are dropping. Yeah, they are dropping all of season 3 at once on the 27th of June. Which I find really interesting, but my usual criticism of all day drops has shifted after the success of Fallout, I would say. And given that the first 2 seasons of The Bear are absolute phenomenal television, I would be very surprised if they were doing it as a move to be like, well, we'll just, wash our hands of that. So, but yeah, they're shooting season 3 right now, or maybe they've wrapped. I don't know, because this is coming out at the end of next month. But they're supposed to be filming that and number 4 back together. So unless they've already probably moved on to season 4 already. But I don't know. But yeah, season 4 is going to be the last season too, so that'll probably be out next year. But yeah, I'm very excited that it's coming so soon because I only just finished, or you too, Mike. You ended up finishing it, didn't you?
Yeah, I finished it.
We both finished watching it only a couple of months ago. So I can't wait. I can't wait to binge this.
And talk about it on the pod.
And talk about on the pod, yeah. Yes, I don't know why I went British. But yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. Such a good show. If you haven't seen The Bear, get the fuck on it, please.
Stellar television.
Stellar television. Stellar. Some of the best episodes of TV you will see ever. And I'm not overselling that. Mike, are you excited for season 3? And how do you feel about it all coming out in one day?
Excited. There is a lot coming out in June. So
June is stacked, man. Are we gonna have time to watch anything in June?
all season. I think it'll probably be it'll probably be in August until we can talk about The Bear.
Yeah,
Oof.
probably. Jesus H.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that's probably the reason, because there's a shitload of things coming out and a lot of re-releases as well.
Yeah, maybe they want to stay in the conversation. But then again, if you want to stay in the conversation when you space it out longer, so people talk about you longer, I guess. I don't know.
I'm guessing, but because they are doing season 4 as well. They like, it's already been set. So they're not really hoping, are we going to get another season? No, it's going to be all this, and the 4th one's going to be the final one.
Yes.
I think I heard. Yeah,
it is,
and which is understandable, because the problem is of having a hit TV show. All your actors are going to be very busy. So I can see why they're going to do all of them and finish their story, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm very excited. I'm not concerned at all. Well, probably my biggest concern is finding the time. There's a lot of things to watch, and I was hoping to watch all seasons of Firefly, but I'm gonna have to put that in the back burner.
No! It's been a while. Been a while since you've thought of Firefly. Is it Mike? I think.
That was my original meme. I have no time.
It was your meme. No time for Firefly.
Speaking of which, I've been going through all my toys, and I found this guy.
Hey, Captain Mel.
Yeah, I think I got him in a loot box. All the way back then.
Nice.
And I also got some money as well. I was trying to figure out, where does this come from, and then I was trying to search it. It's like, oh yeah, Firefly. So I got some Firefly monies.
Yeah.
Would you like some Firefly monies? Because I don't know what a Firefly is.
I'll take your Firefly money. I'll take it.
Public credits? I don't know.
Yeah, your credits do not work here.
Yeah, so I'm very excited for The Bear in number 3.
Nice.
Bear. And I did enjoy the little tease as well.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot to it, but it was just
he's finally out of that fridge. Good.
He got out of the fridge, guys. Yeah, spoilers. Kami got out of the fridge. Yeah, the question is, can he successfully run his restaurant and get back together with his dream girl? Because, god damn it, that pissed me off. He needs to figure he's shit. Well, I suppose he probably needs to be alone before he gets with someone, because clearly he's not ready for a relationship.
No. Lot of irons in the fire, as well as your mental health and dealing with family as well.
Yeah. Fucking Jamie Lee Curtis, man. Still.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the elements of that show that got me, but for some reason her outside the restaurant in the last episode just
Yeah.
Broke me.
Hopefully,
anyway.
Yeah. Hopefully she doesn't get back.
Hopefully she does. Hopefully she does. All right. Well, that's the nerdy news, though. I think we're done with that.
Yeah.
That's the segment done. Very strong segment. But now it's time for us to roll on up to the trailer park.
Boom.
Rolling up to the trailer park where we all park all the trailers. Yeehaw.
R2, what are you doing here?
It's all my toys.
It's all your toys. Do you want to see what I got? If we're showing toys, do you want to see what I got for my birthday? You can't actually. Oh, you can. The general public can. I can't because I can't. I switched my camera off for myself. Anyway, behind the scenes. It was my birthday last week, and a friend of mine got me this.
What's that?
Alligator Loki. Can you make it out?
Yeah. I was just joking.
Yeah.
Like,
you were joking.
Yeah. What's a Loki?
What's a Loki? Yeah.
Loki.
So. Oh yeah, he's very cute. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I have that now. Cool. It's trailer park time, everyone. And let's get into it. We've got 3 films. Yes, we're very quiet for a second. 3 films to talk about. We've talked about trailers for them before. Now it's the second round of trailers for these. And varying degrees of success, I will say. First up, as Mike hinted, be quiet. It's the trailer for A Quiet Place, Day 1.
I just realized that they all have one thing in common, which is me. I've got one thing in common with all of them.
Oh, really?
I haven't seen any of the movies before.
Okay. Okay. Well, you should definitely at least watch the Quiet Place movies, and you should watch Twister, because fucking yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about Twister in a second. But Quiet Place, spoilers. Quiet Place, Day 1. Second trailer. Showed a lot more. Which was interesting. I'm wondering. There's some really cool shots in here. I guess. I'm looking forward to this one because I really love that this mythos, this world. It mixes my love for dystopian, post-apocalyptic stuff and horror. It's a very, very original, very cool concept. In terms of the creatures and what they do and stuff. And there was a shot in this trailer that was quite unsettling for me because it looked like spiders crawling on buildings. And I was like, oh, no, thank you. I don't want that. But yeah.
When Shylock came up in Return of the King.
Shelob, yeah. Yeah, Shelob's very scary. God, I wonder if they would ever do Ungoliant on screen. Fuck. Gigantic spider. You want big spiders. Jesus. Anyway, talking nerd me coming out. Quiet Place, Day 1. Yes. Yeah, it looks really good. I was in when they announced this movie because I'm a sucker for, those prequels that go back to the beginning, where it all started, how it all went down. And they kind of cover that in part 2 anyway. There's a flashback, but it only kind of pertains to the main characters that you're following, the family, in the first 2. But this is the global view, or at least the New York view. The cast is great because you've got Lupita Nyong'o and Joseph Quinn, the upcoming Johnny Storm, and Jimon Honsu as well. It looks great. I feel like they showed maybe a smidgen too much for my money. But no, I can't wait to watch this movie and have the shit scared out of me. It's gonna be so good. Mike, what did you make of it? As someone who hasn't seen the franchise, hasn't seen the previous two, what did you think?
Yeah, very suspenseful.
Yes,
That word.
that word.
Yes. Knowing just knowing what I know about the Quiet Place franchise, about aliens that can only hear but they cannot see.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense because I've been playing a lot of Last of Us, and that's the main clickers. Yeah, it's very scary. But coming into it like fresh, it's like, okay, this is sort of a movie that you can probably have fun with if you know the actual story before, because I've heard, I don't know, but a lot of people saying like with the first one, it was probably best in the cinema where everything was sort of silent and you with
seeing
and with a group of people.
Mm-hmm.
So I've missed that opportunity. Sucks for me.
Yeah, you can. There's re-releases.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it with headphones. and just on my computer. It's like, and just in the dark.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, so I could probably do that. Yeah. Yeah, I can't really explain too much because I don't know. It's sort of like I don't want to say it's like, oh, it just looks like a generic like invasion story. I've seen that shit before. Blah, blah, blah. But it looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm sorry I can't really explain too much about it.
No, that's okay. No, that's totally fine.
It's like the early days of before the Fire Nation attacked, sort of thing.
Yeah. Yes, the aliens of the Fire Nation.
Yes.
Yes. Cool. All right. Well.
Oh, sorry. Yes, that's what I was meant to do. When is this coming out, Kendall?
I'm so glad you asked, Mike. Quiet Place. Quiet Place day one. Will be some alternate programming for the bear because it's coming out on the same day, 27th of June.
Oh.
Yeah.
It all depends if I've watched The Quiet Place, or maybe I should watch this first so I can then watch the Quiet Place.
Yeah, watch them in chronological order, not release order. Something different.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Our next trailer is one that I'm just nervous as all hell about because the original film is in my top 5 of all time, so they've got a fucking high bar to meet. So this is of course Twisters. They dropped a second trailer, which gave us more of an idea of what the story is going to be. So this is your story trailer. And my theory about Glenn, what's his name? I've forgotten his surname. The dude from Top Gun Maverick and Anyone But You that everybody loves right now.
Glenn Close.
Glenn Close. There he is.
Glenn Robinson.
Glenn Powell. Glenn Powell. Thank you. I found it. Yes, Glenn Powell. So I have been headcanoning this theory that Glenn Powell is playing Bill Paxton's character's son in this because I think it's supposed to be a sequel. But now that I've seen this trailer, I'm really not sure about anything anymore because there's references to the first film in this, but then they're also doing a bit of a different story where like the hotshot storm chaser is actually like as in Twister in the original film, Carrie Elwes plays this hotshot fucking douche canoe of a guy who works with Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt's characters originally. You don't see that happens all off screen, but basically they all start out in the same like meteorological lab, and he branches out and gets money, and gets all these fancy gadgets because it's the 90s. Like that's the new cool hip thing to do, right? Now in this version of the story, or this, whatever you want to call this movie, Glenn Powell's character is the hip cool guy, but he's doing things old school, low tech, low budget, and apparently that makes him the one to watch. And our main character, played by Daisy Edgar Jones, is using the high tech, using all that. So they've kind of subverted that a bit, and I think that's kind of cool, and that's a different and interesting angle to do. And I guess it makes sense because the way things work in terms of contemporary world, what is old is new again, and round and round we go. So I guess that kind of makes sense. Hipsters and whatnot. So yeah, hipster storm chasers apparently. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still I'm more on board with this trailer than I was the last trailer. I don't think they're using a lot of. Obviously, the original film used a lot of visual effects. Computer generated effects were still very much in their infancy in the 90s. But you can still watch Twister, and a lot of it, the way they made the tornadoes in it, it holds up, like, for a 90s movie, it holds up very well. These effects look really impressive, but I don't think they're going to stand the test of time in the long run. But, that's a criticism for, so many films these days. But they do look really nice. And they, the fact that we have modern technology, and the fact that we can show different kinds of tornadoes doing different kinds of things. Destruction can be bigger, more impressive. Like, yeah, it looks like they're upping the ante here. But I just really want to know what the story is. But it does kind of feel like some of the characters in this trailer are very much surrogate characters for the original film. So I don't know if it's actually a sequel, or if it's just. But I just can't tell. I can't tell. So I'm going to be combing this with a fine-tooth comb when it comes out. I love the original movie. It's my childhood. So yeah. But anyway, it looks all right. I don't hate it. So, and that's a plus. Because my expectations are low. So we'll see how it goes when it comes out. Mike, again, you said you have not seen the original film.
Yep.
So a lot of what I just said probably didn't make much sense.
But I enjoyed it nonetheless.
You enjoyed it nonetheless. Tell me your thoughts.
I know of Twister and the legacy that it has, as well as the greatest line in Austin Powers Goldmember. My favorite Helen Hunt movie is Twister. So. Yeah, give me the previous movie completely bypassed me, and maybe I need to go back. Maybe because I probably need to get it on VHS so I can just watch it in all its glory of not standard definition. And because if I watch it, as I tend to do, get on Blu-ray, it's like, oh, the effects don't really look that great. It's like, no, I need to go back to old analog, and just rewatch it as a way it should be. God damn it! But, and I say that because it intrigues me that this is an Anne Boleyn movie as well. So maybe I should watch. So that's probably my biggest draw from it. It's like, oh. Okay. Amblin. I'll see.
Yes. Well, because I'm pretty sure Amblin produced the first film from memory. I remember Steven Spielberg being a producer.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I suppose, it was sort of like that string of natural disaster 90s films. I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Dante's Inferno and.
Dante's Peak.
Dante's Peak. Not Dante's Inferno. That's means something completely different. That's my.
Oh
novelty.
yes. Dante's Peak, Volcano, Deep Impact, Armageddon, like Independence Day to a degree, if you will.
Yeah.
Sci-fi disaster film, I guess.
I can see where
Um,
you get it from.
I
You
love,
found
yeah,
your love.
that. Oh yeah, that is my guilty pleasure disaster movies. Those movies in particular. Like I fucking yeah, I grew up watching that stuff.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Uh,
But Twister is probably the best one of all of them.
yeah, it's like
I
one
think.
of the first ones. Well, especially from the 90s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched tomorrow, the day after
The
tomorrow,
day after tomorrow.
and then I saw it's like people running away from weather down a corridor. It's like this is stupid.
Yeah, that was I mean, look, say what you will about Roland Emmerich, but I feel like for me it wasn't Godzilla, but it was The Day After Tomorrow was the first movie where I was like, okay, I think you're losing your mojo now, but um I don't know, I have a soft spot for Godzilla. His trashy Godzilla movie.
Yeah, I need to rewatch that again because I probably haven't watched it since the 90s. I don't think.
I think the last time I watched Godzilla was in the pandemic. I think I watched it during lockdown.
Yeah.
I remember. It doesn't age. It has not aged very well, but
No.
it's leave your brain at the door popcorn fun. So.
I don't know. After -1, I don't think I could ever watch another zombie film.
I hope they put that on streaming somewhere. I need to watch it. I need to watch it.
You work at JB, don't you? Isn't it out?
We don't. Nah, it's not out. It's not out. I can I could check see if it's coming, but it's we just got all the pop vinyl. They did a bunch of pop vinyl for Godzilla X Kong that just came in, and
yeah, that's coming out on streaming very soon, so I'll be watching.
Yeah, yeah, and a couple of classic Toho ones, like there was a Mecha Godzilla and other classic Godzilla. I forget their name, but yeah.
Gordo.
Yeah. Oh, I think so actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know my monsters.
Yeah.
At least you watched Skull Island. That was fun.
Yeah, Skull Island was good.
So when's Twisters coming out?
Twisters, the movie we're not discussing currently. Twisters is coming out on the 18th of July.
Sweet.
Yep.
And then there's going to be an Australian version of it called Twisties. Yeah.
Yes. All right, we got one more trailer to discuss, and yes, again, second trailer for this one. I don't have much to say. It's Despicable Me 4. Yeah, cash grab the movie. Yeah, like the minions are cute. Like we talked about the first trailer was much better put together. This one just seemed like a montage of here's a little bit of story and let's cut to the minions and all their vignettes and what they're doing. Like it just didn't really it was a weirdly edited trailer. I don't know. I didn't love it. But I'm not in on this franchise anyway because it's not for me. But I was laughing a couple of times. Like, I'm kind of sad though that they're I feel like Illumination's kind of dropped the ball. Like we're getting towards the tail end of or the beginning that we're in superhero fatigue, right? We're in it. We're fucking in it. There's no denying that. But now we see the minions. They fucking make them into a superhero like team, and I'm like, you should have done this last movie, you know, like when shit was still hot. But now you've done it now, and it's like it's still cute. I thought it was cute. Like I was laughing at the minion with the laser eye or whatever he had. I can't remember.
Actual Cyclops.
Yeah, actual Cyclops. And yeah, the fact that he's like, let me help you with that, and I'll warm up your drink or your bowl of whatever, and then it actually got out of control and went into space, and I just thought that was a little
all the way through the Earth.
All the way through the Earth, out into space, all the way through to the other side. I thought that was pretty funny. So there's parts in there that I was like, this is kind of cool. I found it really interesting that they're doing a Terminator joke in this. I thought that was, I mean, pop culture reference, sure, but I don't know. It was felt a bit out of place. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this feels like Minions 3. It doesn't feel like Despicable Me 4, even though it's supposed to be continuing Gru's storyline. I don't know. It's weird.
As a family man.
It's, yeah, more of that, I guess. I don't know. I'm not watching it. It's fine. It's fine. It's not for me. It's not for me. Mike, what did you make of it?
Yeah. Something to put on for the kids to be entertained, I guess. Yeah, with the superhero things. You got a Mr. Fantastic, you got a Thing, what was the other one? You got a Strong Man, and you've got a flying Conehead. Now that's a reference and a half.
Yes.
Referencing the Coneheads. Well, you know.
Coneheads are fine.
Yeah. And the main bad guy being voiced by
yeah, who is it?
So
It was
many
very
Wills.
Will Ferrell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say Will Ferrell. Yeah. So you got Ron Burgundy and Brick finally in a movie together.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so that's a bit of fun.
Nice.
And just a bit
We
of
like
dumb
that.
fun with just the minions doing stuff. Yeah, they're not great. They're not great movies. I can protest. I've only seen one of the Minions movies in the cinema with my children. Well, child. So, who knows? Maybe this one I can finally introduce my youngest to the cinema experience. Yeah. This is what you do. You sit down and not do anything. What do you mean? So, well, there's Minions on the up there. So, unfortunately, yeah, it's going to be the first cinema experience. It's like, get you watching something dumb, and then I'll get you into the hard shit.
Yeah. Start them with something like this and work your way up.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Maybe a balance. After Minions, Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now. Yeah, okay, yeah. Make sure you get them to watch the final cut, like the last cut Coppola did. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the stuff. My ass is hurting thinking about it because I watched that in the Astor Theatre here in Melbourne, and those seats
Are uncomfortable.
are uncomfortable, especially if you're watching a 4-hour movie. No thanks.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So when is this coming out?
Despicable Me 4 will be in theatres in the packed month that is June on the 20th.
So much June.
June! Another June.
Yeah, I'll con
Get
my
around
wife
it.
into, hey, just take the kids. Just take the kids. And I'll watch other stuff.
Yeah.
The Bear and Deadpool and everything else.
Yeah. All the cool shit.
Yeah. Stuff that
Yeah.
I'm into. Me.
You. Okay. That's the trailer park done. We are rolling on out. Which brings us now, of course, to a quickie review.
Quickie review.
Yes, it's quickie review time, and that means we are here to discuss our thoughts on the latest episode of X-Men 97, the penultimate episode of season 1. Penultimate. This is Tolerance is Extinction Part 2. And holy fuck. Holy fuck. Folia has left us some thoughts. So I'll start with what she had to say. She says, Magneto has returned to his bad guy status. Who knew? love it. Good episode overall. It's getting pretty intense now. That shot of Wolverine at the end, though, yikes, that looked excruciating. Just a smidge. Bit worried about him now, so the next episode should be interesting. Yes, yes, I agree, Fulia. It's definitely going to be very interesting. Also sharing the worry about Wolverine, because spoilers, of course, for the X-Men 97. But the episode ends on a shot of fucking Magneto ripping the adamantium skeleton, I guess,
Yeah.
out of Wolverine.
Well,
Out of his skin.
yeah.
Or how does it? Yeah.
The adamantium is enclosed around his bones.
Yes.
So he still has his bones.
Yes.
But it's been seeped out of his pores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, which I didn't know. I didn't know that was a comic book storyline that had happened, an event that happened in the comics at one point or another. So I was watching this and I was just like, oh, so Wolverine's dead. For some reason, I momentarily forgot that he's kind of immortal, I suppose.
Yeah, he's still got his healing factor.
Yeah. You can't really kill him.
Yeah.
In that way. So dude's suffering. Fuck. Yeah, that was insane. Yeah, the last, like, once the two teams split off and go their separate ways to take on their respective baddies, the episode does not stop. It just keeps going and going, and the fact that it ends where it ends mid-battle, and it's just insane. This episode was very good. I really liked it, as you can tell. Yeah, again, it's just, I mean, you probably could have dropped. I mean, yes, this cliffhanger is incredible, but like, I feel like this is definitely a part 1 of 2, even though it's part 2 of 3 for this week coming's episode. Like, I feel like they're gonna go very seamlessly into each other, I suppose. Yeah, even more seamless than the other ones. But yeah, it was just great. It was just awesome. Fucking Rogue wearing Remy's jacket got me in the feels. That was hard, and so not surprised that she flipped and went to Magneto's side. She'll come back around hopefully eventually. Who knows? And Professor X coming back finally. You know, him and Cyclops have it out, and that was interesting. And I mean, yeah, he admit he fucked up, which is nice, and they kind of worked through their shit eventually, sort of, a little bit, but no time for that, because the world's gonna end, because Magneto fucked shit up.
Yeah, magnetic.
Meg got rid of the magnetic fields, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only got 12 hours until the atmosphere expands and the entire, well, everyone on planet Earth is going to boil or suffocate.
Yeah, one or the other.
So what I said last week, where certain people, you know, there's only going to be a couple of deaths, and yeah, nah, I was wrong. Everyone is going to die on this planet. That's fucking hardcore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Global threat.
Global threat. Yeah. Yeah, that was insane. And I like that they hammered that home really nicely by mentioning it over and over. Like, no, the world is literally going to end.
Yeah.
When the sun goes down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, it's very intense. But yeah, it was a great episode. So many great moments and just epicness, and just the fucking dialogue was on point in this episode. I mean, obviously we referenced the black leather line at the very start of the show.
Yeah.
That was funny. But there was two, well, technically 3 quotes that stuck out to me. I can't remember. Was the brave always die first? Was that did you send me that video, or did I find that video?
Nah, it
I
wasn't
can't.
me.
It wasn't you, because the brave always die first. This is what Wolverine says to Magneto when he snicked him. And apparently that's from, well, not apparently, I watched the video. That's a line Magneto uses in the 92 version.
Yeah, I'm not up to that
Um,
bit yet, so
Yeah.
yeah.
But I
In
thought that
war,
was,
the brave
in
die
what, yeah,
first.
the Bray die first. I thought that was really cool. Obviously the black leather line. And then I really liked the sisterly bond between Aurora and Rogue and Jean. That was really nice, and it was.
The flipping of the line.
Yes, that's what I was gonna mention. Yeah, because it was just great to see Storm back, and then they have those parting words to each other of make them mind your weather, sister, and them weather your mind. Storm replies. I just poetry. And then I really like this line that Magneto said. I think he said it to Charles. Gods abandon those who believe in them. Mutants do not. I thought it was pretty epic. So yeah, it's good shit.
Yeah, there was also another line. Now I don't know; it hasn't been clarified or anything like that. But when Magneto gags Xavier, and he says, I've always wanted to tell you this.
Yeah,
Shut up." I think there's a reason for that, and not because when you're dealing with, like, way back when you're dealing with like kids cartoons or anything like that, that was one thing that you could not say, like shut up.
Yeah, shut up.
Because it does remind me of Angry Beavers, and they use hush up, like a lot. So in this, dare I say, new age adult, well, it's still kids friendly ish. I mean, we do see blood for the first time. They can say that. So this is their version of Wolverine saying "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah.
So they can say "Shut up" now.
They can say "shut up" now.
This isn't your dad's X-Men.
No. No. What did you think of the episode, Mike? Tell us a bit more of your thoughts.
I enjoyed it, and I'm really enjoying this show, and I'm so glad there's going to be another season. Hands up in the air if there's going to be a season 3. Don't know. They were still making it before they decided to either stop or it's going to be in a different direction. Don't know, but knowing that, then they can do something spectacular at the end. I do not know what, and I enjoy that I don't know what. Especially after Wolverine getting basically going back to his bone claws, so he's going to be a bit more feral, which is going to be great. And could be that just adamantium just popping out of his skin. He's going to look like Porcupine. Don't know. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Character beats are fantastic. The interaction between Xavier and Jean and Scott are great. Like I just love dialogue sometimes. And just you just feel and know where these characters are coming from, and yeah, and I can't wait for the next bit, and I can't wait for a rewatch because I want to watch it all in one day, maybe. everything's going to go back to Genosha. I reckon.
Yeah.
This is my feeling. Maybe we'll get the time travel, but I don't know if they will. I don't know. I think they'll try and stop it, but being a fixed point, maybe it will break the universe, and then no more 97. Don't know. Do not know, but I really enjoyed it. I did love. I love the black leather line. Big contention between the movies is not being ashamed. Maybe throughout, ever since like the X-Men movies and onwards, like a lot of like all those. Like Marvel, sort of Marvel in general. I'm not talking about Spider-Man, but all these Marvel movies, they're sort of like ashamed of the comic book like origins, where it's like, oh, we can't do this because you can't do like a comic accurate costume, otherwise it just looks silly, and you can't really have that, and you get these lines of, what are we, some sort of Suicide Squad, making fun of names, making fun of what you look like. It's like, no, and that's why I like this show so much, is because it's unapologetic on the campiness and the silliness. People do wear these costumes, and it just fits well in the world, and that's why I kind of like the sort of art that we're getting out of the Fantastic Four, of not being like not shying away from the origins, as well as making it like stand out within the sort of world that they're creating, and make it work. I mean, it's like the it's also like the Kevin Smith Masters of the Universe, where he was asking like diehard fans, it's like, what do you want to do? What you would like me to do with this show that you love? It's like, please don't make fun of it. Make it like Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And it works. It works so well, because if you got characters that aren't doing like a wink and a nod, it's like, isn't this silly? It's like, no, this is real. This is real to someone, and and that's why I like this show so much, because it is harking back to a TV show of my childhood, where you get to see something like real, and stories that can echo like forever. Like you get to see like scenarios that are pretty much can fit any old time period or anything like that. And yeah, it's called 97, but yeah, that's why I like it. Can't wait for the second. I'm gonna stop rambling because this is a quick review. Okay. God damn it.
Yeah. Yes. It's brilliant. Yeah. Very, very well said. I love everything you said. It's so true, and it's so good. Yeah. I don't know if we're ready for this week's final episode. But I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah. Same.
It's nice to feel pumped about something Marvel again. Like that's, genuinely fucking good writing and whatnot,
Yeah.
It's just nice. It's nice.
Live action Marvel, take note.
Yeah.
You don't have to do quips all the fucking time.
No, you don't. How about you turn those quips into some epic dialogue? That's just so poignant and so meaningful, and yeah.
I think after, the great reception from this TV show, I think they're going to look back and say, oh, maybe we don't have to do silly all the time.
No. And yeah, like that's just like what Chris Hemsworth has been saying lately about how, he realized after the fact that, Thor Love and Thunder was not his best work, and Thor went too far into the almost a caricature of himself with a lot of the jokes and stuff. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, I feel like they need to take a step back and
Not to go on a tangent, but we're here right now. He's doing the press tour for Furiosa.
Yes.
And someone actually asked to George Miller, "Would you want to do Thor 5?" And he said, "Maybe." That would be cool.
Yeah, George Miller making a Thor movie, let alone a Marvel movie, would be pretty epic, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the
I don't think
visionary
he
that
would.
man has.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure is. All right. Well, we're done. That's our quickie review of X-Men 97, Tolerance is Extinction, Part 2. Stay tuned for our thoughts on the finale of X-Men 97 Season 1.
Finale.
We may even make it a popcorn culture. Maybe. depending on how a certain thing we're about to talk about goes next week. Because it's time for the moment.
Yes.
The segment.
Let me get
the
ready.
section,
Yes.
the place, the place, the thing, the wibbly wobbly, the timey wimey, the what is it? Time and relative
dimensions in
space. It's time for
Doctor Who. Popcorn culture Who.
Yes, it's Who culture.
Hey.
We can't really use that phrase. It's what did we call it? Talking Who.
Talking Who. Hey.
Talking Who. Yes, it's time to talk some Who. Because, of course, Doctor Who's back. Doctor Who's here.
Yeah.
Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor, the 15th Doctor.
Oh wait, what?
If you want to call him that, I don't know if you want to call him the 15th or the first Doctor now. I don't understand any of this new series. They've now officially on IMDb split it up into two things. They say the new Who ended in 2022, so yeah, it's weird. But anyway,
wait, we're not talking about the last two episodes of season 5? Because those are the ones that I watch. I didn't know there was new Doctor Who. Oh my god! What to do?
What to do with Who and you and yes.
Yes.
New Who. No. Unfortunately, for those who are hanging out for thoughts on the end of season 5, that's not what we're talking about. We are going to be talking about season 1. Season 1, episodes 1 and 2, titled Space Babies and the Devil's... Space Babies. Yeah, you won't forget that name anytime soon. And the Devil's Cord. So, Space Babies is first. Oh, man.
Yeah?
I didn't like this episode.
This is a very polarizing episode, yes.
Oh man, I can't wait to go online and see the discourse now between the fans and the reviews and whatnot, because like the church on Ruby Road was great. Like it wasn't like outstanding by any means, but it was fun, and it we got some new creatures and. We got introduced to Ruby and her family and Ruby's story, and there's clearly some epic thing going on with Ruby, and what happened when who gave her, like, who her parents are, her real parents are. Maybe there seems to be a whole thing. I'm here for that mystery. Like that through line so far has been something that's piqued my interest. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of that getting explained. But for this episode to be the first episode of your new Who, I want to talk to. I don't know how you feel about it, Mike. Obviously, I'll ask you in a second, but I want to talk to someone who actually really enjoyed this, because I don't know if those people exist. Because I don't. I was just watching it, just going, no, why? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Like, I get the idea that they were going for and how they were trying to relate it to the Doctor being the last of his kind. It did feel very on the nose, the way that they did it all. And I kind of like the concept of, I suppose, the twist of, oh, the monster is made of the babies, and it's all this whole thing, and
It's made of babies.
It's made it. Well, you know, it's, you know what I mean. It's made of snot, but it's like it's part of the it's, you know, they're related. Yeah. Bogeyman, literally bogeyman. Yeah, I don't know, the babies and the prams. It's just a bit weird. They're all, you know, the CGI moving their mouths. And, just, yeah. I don't know. For a first outing, it was not the best time. Mike, shall I go to you, or do we want to read out Folia's thoughts? Because I forgot to read Folia's thoughts.
That's all right. We can go for Folia.
Okay, so Folia says about space babies. She just says space babies and a literal boogeyman. And then there's like a little green vomit emoji, I think. I honestly would have been okay if the boogeyman was shot into space. Not really a great episode to start the new season, in my opinion, but it was all right. Okay, yeah, okay, cool. Fuller and I agree. Nice. Although I kind of, we'll talk about more of it anyway. I won't go into it. But Mike,
Yes.
How, as our long-standing resident Whovian,
Whovian.
Yes. How did this?
Yeah.
His Whostorian. How did this go with you?
Well, I did watch the Christmas special because for some reason they they put that in the actual list, so that would be quote unquote officially the first episode of the season. So I watched that just to give myself a refresher, and also just I you know, that song's a bop. Goblin King. Yeah, so Doctor Who's no stranger to things that are stupid and quite off center. I mean, we do have the Absorbaloff for episode to go back on and say, yeah, it can be silly and stupid, and and subtle hints towards your main character having oral sex with a piece of concrete. Anyway, weird, so weird. Yeah, so this one's Space Babies is sort of no exception to the strangeness. Speaking as someone who's had children, it was kind of cute. It was kind of cute for me. It's like, yeah, and the voicing. I mean, they couldn't. They shouldn't really. It was too weird for me for that bit. Maybe they could have done like a translator.
Yes,
you know? They could have done a translator, but
yes.
You know, we've got Disney money now, so we can throw it out. You know, and I can't really get over the fact that I'm watching Doctor Who in 4K. It's weird. I'm so used to crap. Talking classic Doctor Who, where one of the Doctor's main enemies is made of tinfoil, you know, and bubble wrap, and I'm watching it in high definition. It's come a long way, and I enjoy it, but sometimes maybe I don't know, because it's got episodes like this. It's the monster is made of bogies, and definitely has, like, especially for the ending, definitely has a couple of hints towards Alien.
Yeah.
I've been seeing it. I've been seeing Ripley. What if Ripley had a heart and said, "Well, you're a new creature. We can't really destroy you." It's like, yeah, it's kind of fitting. And
I love that of all the alien movies for them to reference, they reference Resurrection.
oh, Resurrection, and also the ending for the first one as well.
Yeah, true.
Shooting it out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sort of both. And then yeah, first outing, I didn't find it that egregious, really. I mean, I'm used to weirdness. Like having there is a character in Classic Who called the Candyman, who's like sort of like a cyborg, but is made out of candy. So you sort of have that weird stuff, like made of licorice, all sorts as well. So that's it's kind of silly stuff as well. I mean, some people like it, some people don't. I mean, Doctor Who has always been polarizing. Yeah. I mean, you like what you like and you hate what you like, and I think the Bogeyman was it's quite unique in its portrayal and how it sort of fits in within the story of this marooned space station. And it's sort of actually, it just dawned on me, Red Dwarf sort of did something like this. There was an episode of Red Dwarf where one of Lister's, not me, but the character Lister, one of his Vindaloo sort of becomes sentient and becomes a creature. I can sort of see it in that. That's a weird pull. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, where do we go from here? Did you like Nanny?
Yeah, she was cool. I think my favorite gag of the episode was probably the translator bit about how, like, you know, she's saying whatever and then it comes out as, you know, nanny translation.
Like,
yeah, I thought that was I mean, they probably overused it by the end, but the first couple of jokes relating to that were pretty funny. But yeah, she was a good character. She was interesting. You know, the fact that she refused to abandon the babies was really kind of sweet. But yeah, the fact that she'd been isolated from them for 6 years is like insane. Yeah. So, and I think I missed the explanation as to why the babies they kept aging but they stopped growing, if that makes sense. So they were older, but they still appeared younger. I don't know.
Yeah, there were 6.
There was a reason for it.
Yeah.
Something to do with the system malfunctioning, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. I kind of also really liked the concept of the bogeyman being a representation of fear. So therefore, everyone's going to be afraid of it inherently, even the Doctor. Because at first I was like, why the fuck is the Doctor running away from this thing? And then when they explained why, I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. So yeah, I thought that was okay. But I didn't have too much to say about this one because I just I didn't love it. Like it was fine. Like the Doctor's good and Ruby's good and they make a great team. I will say.
Yeah.
I like them. I like them together. They bounce off each other well. They already feel like they've been together for ages, and this is their second episode. Like it just, it was just really cool. And you know, you see them repeating a lot of the same tropes of, you know, Ruby finding out who he is and what he does and what the deal is and all that stuff.
And a couple of callbacks to New Who's second adventure. Did you?
Oh, so a reference I might understand. Explain.
Yeah. When the Doctor took Rose to
To the future.
to the
to
future
see
for the first time.
the end of the Earth. Yeah. That's there's definitely you're right. There's
A couple
definitely
of parallels there, as well as talking about the translator in your head, as well as
Yes.
the phone, changing the phone.
Yeah, they did the I forgot that. Yeah, the phone thing, that was the one thing that made me think of Nine and Rose the most. I was like, "Oh, I remember the phone thing and they're doing that again." That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'm at that age now that I'm witnessing Doctor Who reference itself.
Yeah.
New Who stuff. It's like
New Who. Yeah.
But you've done this, Russell. You've done it before.
Yeah, Russell's just kind of like, I'm back, baby, and I'm doing whatever the fuck I want because now I've got Disney money.
I'm doing this again.
And again and again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Space Babies was okay. There's definitely some things to take away from it. But I don't think I'll rewatch it again.
No. Probably two more things.
Yes.
One that I almost burst into tears at work. When the Doctor asks the captain, is like, "Oh, haven't you been hugged before?" It's like, "No, I haven't." I was like, "Ah!"
Yeah, that was sweet. That was sweet.
Because I know how important.
Yes.
I know how important that connection is.
And yes, absolutely.
And you haven't had it in 6 years. Maybe that's why they were still children, still babies, because they haven't had skin on skin contact with anything. So yeah, wibbly wobbly. And the other thing was, I need to actually clarify that, so bear with me. But there, within like in Church of Ruby Rose, we get to meet Mrs. Flood for the first time. The older lady, and how she winks to camera and knows what a TARDIS is. I want to find out if that was her on the screen, because they hold on her for a long time. Where the crew was doing final thoughts, and when they were about to leave, under duress, and one of them, and one of them, what it looked like the same actress was actually played Mrs. Flood in Church, and
Church of Ruby Rose.
And I think she's also in the next one that we're going to talk about too.
Ooh.
But I'm going to find if I am full of shit or not. So let's talk about the Devil's Cord.
Yes, let's start with Folia's thoughts. Episode 2, The Devil's Cord. Folia says, it was quite fun. I love the concept of music being stolen. I could never imagine a world without music, and they did it in this episode. Yes, Folia, they did. It was, I like this episode more than the first one. But even then, I didn't love it, super love it. I don't know, the writing was just a bit lazy for me.
Yeah?
A bit too convenient. Like, I didn't like, not to jump straight to the climax of the episode, but I feel like the convenience of the Doctor explaining how he just happens to be the one person that could, because of all the life experience and all of that they have, that makes the Doctor the only person qualified who just happens to be there to put the Maestro back in their cage, if you will. I I know, just and then the fact that he just played the chord, and yeah, I suppose he didn't finish it, and then I like the touch of Paul and John finishing it. I thought that was really kind of nice.
I almost got pissed off.
Oh, we've gone the other way. That's great.
No. When they were doing it was like, oh, John's going to do it. It's like, no, John and
John
Paul.
and Paul. Yeah.
I was like, fucking Paul.
I mean, honestly, I was hoping it was just going to be John. But but the fact that it was John and Paul, I'm like, no, this is nice. It worked well enough.
Paul wrote better songs.
Paul wrote better songs. Controversial.
Whatever. Imagine all the people. Whatever.
I like Paul more than John anyway. Hot take.
Ooh.
No, I don't really have an opinion either way on the Beatles. But anyway, we'll talk about them. Yeah, I don't know. It just all kind of felt everything just kind of worked out really easily in the end. Despite the fact that, this episode was very much a how is the Doctor going to get out of this one sort of vibe, because he's terrified because he thinks this villain is connected to the toy maker, which he was right. So that was interesting. And I liked it more when he explained it to Ruby. I love how I had to have it explained to me to enjoy it more, though. That sucks.
That's all what the companion's for.
Yeah, true. The companion is the surrogate audience person, audience member. But yeah, I liked the Doctor's speech of you get one trick, you get one fucking go at defeating this thing, and that's it. Like you don't get another shot. So I kind of liked the way that the Doctor explained that. I thought that was good. And then yeah, overall I enjoyed it. Like I don't know if I want to go into my time traveling shenanigans and how I'm feeling about that yet, but I might go to your overall thoughts on this one. How did the devil strike a chord with you, Mike?
I did enjoy this one.
Good.
Quite more than Space Babies, mind you.
Yes.
There was a lot of stuff in this that I actually quite enjoyed. I do like a period piece. I kind of love the sort of quick change into a costume. It's like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool, bit of a get out of jail free sort of thing. It's like I'm not really dressed right, and yeah, just the period piece and I don't mind the Beatles sometimes. I think they're a little bit overrated sometimes. They've got probably 5 good songs. Ooh, hot take.
Hot take. Ooh.
So I did enjoy the sort of the maestro. I did enjoy her and how she was sort of implemented into this sort of character, this sort of larger than life. It sort of makes sense. And only a good drag queen would actually be that full on, and actually it would fit within Doctor Who. Like, wasn't sure. Like, I wasn't really sure how, depending on the story, how it would actually fit within the genre, and actually fitted really well. And how this story sort of went out of its way of making something sinister, but it was also having fun at the same time. I think Russell T Davies has come out and says, I want Doctor Who to be more fun, and I'm getting the fact that I'm kind of liking the sort of mixture of having a bit more fun with Doctor Who and ending ending with a song. That's fun. Yeah, there was. I couldn't really find much fault in it, which is kind of weird because I'm very critical when it comes to me Doctor Who, and yeah, I can't really think of anything, and I think you do.
I have a criticism.
Yes.
And I hope you can clear up for me, because I
Sure.
hope it's just not my brain not understanding something, because I am still a little new to Doctor Who. Like, I'm very much getting my Doctor Who cred a little bit. You know, I've watched a few episodes now.
Yeah.
But I for me, in terms of, so obviously the whole thing is music is taken from the world when this in the cold open, this genius composer plays the devil's chord and summons the maestro, right?
Yeah.
And then the maestro starts stealing music from everything. So by the time the Doctor and Ruby go back to 1963 to see the Beatles work on their first album, and they find very quickly, which actually, can I just quickly point out, was a hysterical sequence of the Doctor and Ruby reacting to iconic, you know, artists being terrible. Like seeing the Beatles be bad was great.
That's a
Then
way of getting away with copyright.
Yes, very clever. Very clever. And then seeing Cilla Black also be really bad, and then this orchestra could play completely out of key. Fucking Shooty Gutwas face. He sold it so well. The like you know, that whole thing, like it was just really
right.
That's not right. Yeah, I thought that they did a very good job of that. So yeah, but anyway, so you've got that, and this is happening, right? So it's 1963. Music is gone. The world is, you know, the Doctor's talking about a darkening of the world, basically, because of, you know, music's not a thing. Yeah, and then we get to the point where we jump ahead. Ruby wants to know, like, she's like, I'm still here. This is important to remember. I'm still here. I haven't disappeared. I still have my memories. Blah, blah, blah. Then we go back from 1963 to 2024, and we see the world in ruins, because obviously they've left that point in time, 1963, to go to 2024, and it's fucked because there's been a nuclear winter happen.
Yeah.
Well, I just knocked the microphone. Sorry, Fulia.
I think it's me this week, but that's
yeah, you're editing. Sorry, Mike. And then they go back to 1963 specifically to figure out a way to fix it. Yeah, and then everything's fixed, everything's fine. And then music starts coming back into the world, and it's, you know, in my brain I've just gone, one, in the first episode, they made a point of talking about, you know, don't step on a butterfly while we're visiting the dinosaurs because shit will change. And yes, I know that's millions and millions and millions and millions of years. But Ruby steps on a butterfly and then turns into this lizard thing.
Butterfly lady.
Which is a bit of fun. And then the Doctor, you know, Deus Ex Machina's the butterfly back to life. And that's okay. But
he John Coffey'd from the Green Mile.
Yes, literally, yeah. Actually, when I was watching it, I thought of Gandalf whispering to the moth to call the eagles. But anyway, that's what I thought of, because that's my brain. But yeah, so we have this moment of a clear change happening, right?
Yeah. And
then in this episode, Ruby makes a point of saying, but I'm still here, even though things have changed. I have not changed in myself. So number one, I found that odd that they didn't make a point to change Ruby, even though they made a point to change Ruby in the previous episode. And then the other thing was the Doctor. I mean, I guess you can reconcile it because the Doctor knows about these, you know, fixed points, and about the way time travel works with, like, you know, things that you can change and not change and undo and whatever. So I'm putting it down to that, and that's how they get away with it. But for me, I was like, surely they've got to go back to 1920, whatever it was, to stop the genius composer from playing the Devil's Chord, because then that's before everything else or whatever. But no, they just have to go back and then defeat the thing to put it back, and then the world just retcons itself. The timeline just retcons music back into it. Or do we just now start from a point of there wasn't music for 40 years, and like similar to the whole Mavity thing, maybe like now there's just this new timeline where music just didn't exist for 40 years, and now it came back one day, and now we love it again. So, am I overthinking this at all?
A little
Or
bit.
are there any problems am I pointing out that are kind of you can poke holes in, or I don't know, should I just simmer down?
No, it's all right. So sometimes with Doctor Who you can overthink it, and it's like, and you just go nuts. I think with the stepping on the butterfly, I think probably was a joke.
Yeah.
And not to take it too seriously,
Yeah.
because just to understand. Basically, every time Doctor Who gets renewed, you're dealing with a new audience, and so you have to show it's like, well, you can't really change stuff in the past because it will affect the future. And parking on that, I think the Doctor was actually quite surprised that happened when he was going back into the TARDIS. Like, that was a bit weird. That's never happened before.
Yeah.
So probably put a pin on that if it does crop up at the end.
Right.
With the Devil's Chord, because it happened in the 20s, and well, music wasn't gone. It was just not very good or creative. It was
the soul of it had been taken away,
Yeah.
basically.
where the Beatles were just talking about a dog that they had. I've got a dog. He's a fun boy, and essentially it was crap music.
Yeah.
It was still crap music. There was no inspired music for the last 40 years, where it was, and being the 60s, it was like the decade of love and free will, and everything was free. It was still sort of hunkered down in sort of that 1920s, like just about to go through a war, and we get to see that war is still going on, even though it was sort of tensions between worlds, between countries and that. So I don't think the Doctor could actually go back to the 20s and actually stop that. Otherwise, because he's already traveled. Sorry, I'm still working this out. Because that's their preferred pronouns now. They've already travelled back to the 60s, and this has already started. So you can't really go back into your own history to work that out. So he couldn't really go back. So he had to be where he was. That there was Shootagatwa, to actually fix that. And they in original New Who, with Christopher Eccleston, they talked about how you can't really change the past, or otherwise it will affect the future. And back to Rose was talking about, well, I'm here right now, and how come I've never seen this change? And they sort of talk about it. And in this, they showed you what would happen if something did happen to music. So they just showed it and says, okay, now I know who you are. Now I need to go back to solve this. So I think it's just showing off. It's like, showing London in ruins. It's like, this is what happens when there's no music in the world that it inspires anyone, and the whole human race is completely destroyed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that
Who
help?
did a little bit, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Thank you. There was it might have been Marvel, but I can't remember. Some IP did time travel. I remember, unless it was Loki, maybe, I don't know, but like timelines, changes start to happen and start to ripple out, but you have till a certain point to undo them.
Yeah.
Before they come set. I can't remember which fucking nerd thing did that. That made me think of this. Like that would explain why the Doctor could change things from the 60s and have it not ultimately affect the overarching timeline, I guess. Because if it hadn't gotten to the point where it was going to permanently stay a certain way, yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah. And
yeah,
just
I hope that
ballpark
makes sense.
figure from the 20s to the 60s, like all throughout the 70s. Oh, sorry. the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. The teenager wasn't invented just yet.
No.
Until the 50s. So so it was so sepia toned, so it sort of made sense that everything sort of happened in the 60s, where it's post-war, and those children from like the baby boomers basically decided, okay, this is our world now and we're going to make music. So and trying to find that sort of voice that they had.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Yeah, yeah, 50s and 60s, yeah, were huge. Especially the 60s, huge turning point in terms of humanity. Leaps ahead. Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you for doing all the time discussion with me. It's helped a bit.
Sorry I didn't have a blackboard and just claim you're not thinking fourth dimensionally.
That's okay. Yeah. But I like the fact that this episode made us have that discussion. I think that's really cool. That was fun. But yeah, I like the Maestro. I thought they were a good villain. I like very campy, obviously, and I liked the fact that it was, they were connected to the toy maker and all of that. I thought that was very interesting. I just thought the way it all kind of played out was a bit, too convenient. And then the fact that Doctor Who really wants to be a musical now. I mean, I know you said that you like the fact that it ended on a musical number. Like, there was a musical number in Church on Ruby Road. Like it's like Shooty and Millie can sing, and let's just show the world.
And when you
which is fine.
And when you're dealing with a villain that's basically about music, I mean, there's got to be some sort of like musical number, and not necessarily. But I did like the fact that they did Devil Went Down the Georgia sort of battle.
That was okay. That was cool. I liked seeing the Doctor and the Maestro go ham at each other with the I certain things that the Maestro did on the violin. I've never really heard certain sounds before from a violin. So like whoever they had come in and play was very talented. Yeah. Well, the whole thing, like the piano, I was just, a lot of the piano stuff in this, like a lot of the music in the episode was quite good. It was very impressive. Like I liked Ruby's song for her friend, that she played. Like that was a really nice kind of piece. Very sad, but it was nice. It was a better episode than episode 1, but I think there's still work to be done in terms of the writing overall. But yeah, it was good. I don't know what else I have to really say. Do you have anything else we haven't really touched on with this one to point out?
Well, there's a couple of things that for older Whovians would actually enjoy. the doctor finally mentions that he had a granddaughter.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about that. There's the whole Shoreditch thing that got mentioned, and I was like, "What's this?"
Where he mentioned that he was living just over there in Totter's Lane. It's like, well, that's where the first Doctor was, in a junkyard, just living in the TARDIS with his granddaughter, and I did enjoy that, and I'm not sure. I'm in two minds of this, where he actually mentioned after the Time War that he doesn't know if Susan is alive or dead, and I thought that's a good get out of jail free card if they don't want to tackle. Like, a lot of people are asking for Caroline Ford, who played Susan, to come back as Susan, but there's a lot of canon sort of wrapped into that, because they don't want to mention if she is a Time Lord or not, or she's human or anything like that. And yeah, so very, very messy, very, very messy story wise. So either get out of jail free, or because they have mentioned Susan, and I was wondering because the previous there was a thing in the anniversary specials talking about her or something similar. I was expecting maybe we get this, I don't know, even more than a mention of actually having her coming back in some form or another, and that would be nice. And I was in two minds of either, because it sort of got to me. It's like, that, and I think it was in this episode that he was actually going through all his backstory like really fast. It's like, okay, I know you're a new era of Doctor Who, but surely you can like put subtle hints. But they basically just said it all up front of talking about, I'm the last of the Time Lords. I'm from Gallifrey, and all that. And it's like big narrative dump that they did. It's like, okay, that's fun. Don't know what new people from to who would sort that out. So that was actually a good surprise. Them actually dumping some old school lore with Susan and that.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
because I think even just before like a few minutes before that scene happened, and they said that they were going to 1963, I was like, oh, that's interesting timing. We just had the 60th anniversary, and now we've gone back to the year. So it was very appropriate that they would obviously mention the first Doctor in this episode. Then
it would be interesting if they change it a little bit. That never mind. I'm just spitballing here. Let's talk about real stuff. There was something else as well that sort of went, ooh, okay, but I can't quite remember it.
I was going to ask, are there any theories yet
about
or
Ruby?
ideas about Ruby? Yeah, and who she really is, or what's going on with her?
Yes. Well, the Maestro does speculate. It's like, ooh, I don't like you. You're strange. You're different.
Mm-hmm.
So they're still sprinkling some theories of who she is and where she came from, and why. Yeah, and what you said about her changing into a butterfly lady and being set in time. There's something still there. It's still early days for trying to figure out what. I think it's still something to do with Mrs. Flood. I don't know.
Yeah.
Her guardian angel watching over her.
Yeah.
The thing that I was going to say, because I'm an old man now and I watch everything with subtitles so I can just find out every single thing. When the maestro was on the piano in alternative 2024 and starts playing, started playing, and the TARDIS was going apeshit. It's said that what she was playing was the theme for Saxon. You can't remember. Sorry. Where she was playing.
Yeah. At the start, that was at the start of the episode. She played into the intro, out of the cold open.
Yeah, that she was playing the intro, which was kind of cool, and then the theme song was in the jukebox. Okay, that was cool. That transition was like, so the Doctor Who theme. Actually, I need to look that up because I think there is a. I watch a guy called Loose Cannon and he does Doctor Who stuff, and I think the theme for Doctor Who was written by the Doctor, and that was canonical, or something to do with that.
Yeah.
So, but this is when I was talking about where they went to nuclear fallout, London.
Yes.
And she was playing on the piano, and she
and
started.
The TARDIS starts going weird.
Yeah, and she started playing the Saxon theme, which is the Master.
Right.
Because 4-beat is the heartbeat of a Time Lord. Here comes the drums. Here comes the drums.
Yeah. Oh,
so it's got something to do with the Master, and something to do with the Master and the toy maker, and the maestro are all connected. Because the Master was in the tooth and it got picked up by so
by an unknown hand. Yeah.
And everything comes in threes. So we got the toy maker, the maestro, and the Master is going to come back, but I don't know when. Or even in this series. Maybe next
season. At some point, the Master will definitely return.
Yeah, he does. He's a fucking cockroach. But it's kind of interesting that they're putting subtle hints in of the Master. I think that's all the speculation that I've got.
Right.
Yeah. And then the reference to the great cinematic achievement of Tom Hanks's Big, when they start playing
the Abbey Road crosswalk. Yeah.
There we go.
Yep. Cute. Yep. I'm enjoying them. Yeah, like I said, Shooty and Millie are very good together. So they've cast very well.
It's kind of weird. I'm in this weird situation where I find both the companion, where the companion and the Doctor both are attractive. It's a weird thing. Usually the companion's like eye candy, the male gaze and all that shit. Or female gaze, depends. And then sometimes the Doctor's hot. David Tennant when he first arrived was like, "Ooh, hello, skinny man."
Skinny man. Yeah. Well, I found, yeah, every Doctor I think I found attractive, except for Capaldi because I just don't view him in that sense. But he's he's great anyway. I'm very excited to get to him in 5 years.
Yeah.
But
I will
but yeah.
mention. Yeah, it's not really a spoiler, but there is sort of like a Susan reference in one of the episodes. Yeah, so they are teasing. They are teasing, and Caroline Ford was actually at the premiere of the anniversary special. So it's like, oh, what are you doing? Stop it!
Stop it! Don't tease.
Stop it!
Stop it. All right. Well, I don't have anything else to say, and it's
Getting late.
Yeah, getting late, and it's a big podcast, and I think we've touched on everything. Cool. Shall we end it there then?
Yeah, we shall.
We shall. Very good. Very good. All right, those are our thoughts on Doctor Who Series 1. Still sounds weird.
Episodes 2 and 3.
Episode 2 and 3, or 1 and 2, depending on how you're marking the episodes.
Wow,
Thanks,
on Disney Plus, they put the Christmas special as episode 1. So.
Yeah, and on IMDb they put the Christmas special as episode 0, because that's what they do for the specials on IMDb. They give them their own special thing.
Special. They're so special.
So special. But yes. Space Babies and the Devil's Cord. That was Talkin' Who. That was pop culture. Good times had by all.
Yeah. Next week. Yeah.
Boom. Yeah, I like the little tease for next week. That seems like one of those bottle episodes where it's just like one location, one event. How do we get through this one thing? I'm kind of excited to watch that. I hope it's good.
Written by Moffat.
Oh, it's a Moffat episode. Oh. Okay, now I'm extra excited to see the internet catch fire. Yes. Cool.
Or go kaboom.
Yeah, kaboom. Boom, not just a name of a Doctor Who episode. Yes. That's it. That's done. Which means the podcast is over.
Yes.
You can all go home now. But we're already home, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Yes, that was awesome.
What are you talking about? I'm in my Fred shed.
You're in your Fred shed. I'm in my Fred shed too, which is my whole apartment. Cool. All right. Until next time. A 1, a 2, a you know what to do. And that was a podcast called Fred.
That one.
Remember to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for the latest Fred content.
If you like to listen to Fred the Alien, you can find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you like to watch Fred the Alien, you can head on over to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Fred the Alien Productions. And if you're watching the stream right now, remember to give us a follow on Twitch. And also subscribe to the YouTube channel where you'll keep yourself up to date with all our videos. And hit the bell icon to do the same.
Yes, please do. I've been a Kendall Richardson.
And I've been the music maestro, please, himself, Michael Lister.
And
you just experienced a podcast called Fred Transition.
Remember to eat beef.
Remember, Freddy lives, Loki dies, the Doctor is in, and the rocking pills now sunken, so juicy sweet. The wish to get your fish so juicy sweet. Thank you.
That was awesome.
Look after yourself and your mental health.
Yes. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Laters, Gators.
And
Scene.
scene.
No.